back in the count. The swing arm now coming back as our countdown continues.
Good afternoon, good evening, hello to everyone. Welcome to the Brick Something News. I am Brick Something, and that guy taking a sip right before speaking is Mario796 Studios. What's up, man?
What's up? What's up, Brick? Good to see you. Good to see your beautiful face, man.
Oh, shoot. Look, two beautiful brown faces on
Yeah.
the screen at one time. I think we broke YouTube. We broke YouTube.
We broke the rule, dude. It's usually one in, one out, but there's two of us now. So
you know that is usually the truth, except for like I've been watching. You know, I watched Toymigos. That's where the whole like Toymigos thing happened, because it can happen. If you all are not reading between the lines, I'm Pinoy. I'm Filipino. He's Filipino, and on the Toymigos, I will often be chatting, hashtagging Toymigos. If you know, you know. And Rensu's in there, and he picks up on it, and like that's our greeting for each other. But part of the reason I even thought about the Toymigo thing was because I was watching, you guys, and I'm, showing my wife. I'm like, dude, look, this dude's Pinoy, Chamba's Pinoy, yeah, Mario, and then Namachu's on there. It's just like, and of course, there's other folks across ACBA and like obviously enablers, you guys. But it's like, it's cool. For me, it's cool. Yeah. Yes. And like we're present, we're up front. So I know I totally get where you're coming from when you say like we broke the rule, but it is kind of neat to see you guys over on the enablers, and Toymigos, repping both.
Some might even say there's too many now.
Well, those people suck. Say that. So yeah,
I'm talking about Kevin.
No? Oh, well, Kevin.
Yeah,
is he making a list? He's making a list.
Yeah,
and he's got criteria.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're above quota, so.
But that's a Canadian thing. Come on, Kevin.
Yeah, you're right.
The whole
you're right.
Anti-DEI thing. That's a U.S. thing. You're not allowed to do that, man.
That's our stuff.
Okay. That's our stuff. So, man, I'm really happy that you're here. The whole show is just me talking with different folks, getting to know them, but just like talking toys, and I like variety. I know you like variety. Based on your
yeah, I do.
That was a pregnant yeah. What was that? What's behind that?
Well, I mean, there's definitely I do like variety, but there is definitely a large section of my collection that is mainly focused on one thing. But within that one thing, there is a variety of different shapes and sizes. Yes. And if you know.
Yes, and we will know today. I don't know if you caught my little write-up about it, but I mentioned that, I asked my tita if you could come over and play, and she didn't realize that we were going to talk about waifu. So... But we'll get there. We'll get there. Like you said, if you know, you know. Okay, first off, bad form. I should say hello to the people. See, look, it's bad. Like our parents raised us wrong. We're supposed to say hello to the guests, and not just you, but all the people who are here. Right? They came. We should treat them like the best. So on that note, let's start over here with JMax77. Hello, sir, and thank you very much for this comment that made my day. Like, I really, really appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Blake, aka Recon Rage, is here. What's going on, Blake? Let's roll that beautiful Needless Ephemera video. Yes, good seeing him this morning on New to Mythics. Mr. Ryan Clark is here. Hello, hello. Saying sup to you. This is where you respond. You say hello.
Sorry, I was on mute. What up?
Okay. is look at you and the high production value, man. I respect it. You've got your camera on point, you got your lighting on point, the framing. Look at you, you're well framed.
Thank you.
And he mutes in between.
I invested heavily to do one podcast, one stream a month. So, that's it.
Man, we're similar, man. Yes, I understand that. I think we got that from our uncles who buy way too many things.
Oh yeah, for sure. 1000%.
Yeah. And they come around to parties and they look at them and they compare like, oh, did you see this? Well, how much was that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know. Josh Brown is here going to throw out a preemptive careful from Mario.
That's deserved. Yeah, that seems about right.
Very wise, Josh. See, look, they know you. They caught up to your brand. Nick, this guy, I got to hang out with this guy a couple hours ago. Nick Dillinger, I got to meet him for the first time in real life. He had moved away for a while and came back here to the Bay Area, and we connected at a store in Union City. Actually, that's a nice coffee, not too acidic. Shout out to what is it? Devout Roastery or Devout Coffee or whatever it is, out in Niles, California.
Nice.
But that's that's the coffee ephemera we sell. That's a whole other thing. Nolan, hello. E. McNeil, what's up, E? Good to see you, sir. Larry's Geeky World is here. Real sip or acting sip? No, sip.
Dude, they're all real.
Okay. That was real. Oh, got it. That's sip. Okay. Rick Jones is here. Whoa. Thanos Copter is here. Hello, Thanos. Hello. And thank you again in advance for helping with the links. Appreciate you. Look, he's already on it. Dropping in that Instagram. Sinapa, Ken Mas. Oh, this guy, Arthas Zoran, who is an amazing customizer, mainly working in Mythic Legions, and is no stranger to customizing and painting beautiful female portraits.
Ooh, I got to check that out.
You will today, because he's got plenty of great work along the way, and some out of the box women too, different shapes and sizes. I heard you say so. Yeah. That's coming.
I don't discriminate.
Nope. Welcome all waifu. Speaking Moistly is here. Hello, Moistly. And that is it. I'm not even gonna pretend there's a bunch. I love when people go and so on, and there's like 3 people. Oh, actually, what's up, Jesse? Hello, long time. Good to see you, sir. Okay. First off, Mario with an M.
Yes.
Not a D. Just to make sure that everybody's got it straight. Okay. Mario. We were talking about production value, and I know you're making a joke about buying stuff, so I know that that's a part of it. But do you have like an art background, creative background, production? Because you're kind of on point with the aesthetics, man.
Yeah. No, I don't. I have a mechanic background. I went to trade school and was an ASE certified technician for years. Actually, short-lived. But no, I have no artistic background. I mean, I drew as a kid, and whenever I got my first job, the first thing I bought with my paycheck was a Canon EOS XTI, I think, back in the day. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to save up for like a Nikon, and I would take pictures of my Honda Civic, because like we all had Honda Civics, right? I had a hatchback, 98 hatch. It was great.
Folks did. I didn't.
You had a Mitsubishi?
Dope. No, I didn't actually. No, I got hand-me-downs. I was in LA. The kids in Cerritos and Artesia, they had the beautiful Honda Civics. I got my Lolos after he passed. I got his old Ford Thunderbird, and then I got.
That's not bad.
Yeah, no, not that cute T-Bird. We're talking like late 80s ugly big old 2-door grandpa car, which was, sorry Lolo, but anyways, so you took pictures of, and when you say Nikon, you talking film then?
No, it was all digital. Yeah, I'm not that old, but yeah, I am. I like taking pictures, and then I was always like into collecting, but so I mentioned before we started the stream that I took a break from 796. So 796 started in 2017, I think, December 2017. started off making dios, and then I got introduced to ACBA, and I'm like, oh, this is amazing. So I dove into that pretty heavily, right? And that was all photography stuff. When I took a break, I still needed a hobby, and I really got into cinematography, videography. I created a whole different, like 2 or 3 different Instagrams, right? I would do short films, just short, high production stories, and it would disappear after 24 hours, right? And I got into that like heavily. I bought my first Sony. I invested in like the holy trinity of lenses, lighting, all kinds of stuff, right? And that is, similar to collecting. It's like once you start, like you pick up that one mythic, you're like, oh, it's over, right?
Yeah.
You just accumulate a bunch of stuff. So when I finally decided to come back to 796, I'm like, hey, I have all this equipment and I have all this knowledge. So I kind of melded the two together. And that, and then when Kev is like, hey, you want to start a new show called Enablers? I'm like, now I need to get streaming stuff too, And it's like, you invest for the idea, which is kind of backwards. You should be investing for like your limitations and what you've, the roadblocks that you encounter once you've grown, right? But I'm like, no, I need all this stuff first. And then, we'll get there. But yeah. So, and I wasn't joking. I mean, I lately, I would stream every week with Toy Migos, but lately I've been kind of slowing down. So I don't even really use the streaming camera too much nowadays. And I have all this, expensive equipment just collecting dust,
You're missed on Thursdays, by the way. Well, no, Tuesdays. But
and I miss those guys. I love those guys so much.
Yeah.
And I miss them. I miss chopping it up with them.
Yeah, you make it sound like it's over. That's making me sad. But anyway, it's a break. It's not. It's not a break.
No, it's not over. I just I've been really busy.
Okay.
And Tuesday is really my only free day out of the week, right? So and I'm usually
what you're saying
with
is,
like the kids and So
got it. I guess that's okay. You were saying the investing thing real quick. I'm kind of that way too, in terms of so I was in a band for a while, and the first thing I did to make sure that I committed to it was I bought some equipment. Even though like I'd been playing for a while and had stuff, I was like, okay, new band, I'll buy stuff. So, but part of it was, and I hear you in terms of saying like it's a little backwards, but part of it was to make sure that I committed, because then I'm like pot committed, and I stuck with it. You know what I mean?
Did you really?
Yeah.
You stuck with it?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
No, I mean, I start, well, no, not now, but that was the start of it. And then it went on for 10 years. And
I mean, that's, I think that's you're getting your money's worth, right?
Yes, exactly.
I've used that mentality before. It's like, all right, like for example, 3D sculpting. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get a Huion tablet. I'm going to invest $1,000 into ZBrush. And because I bought it, that means I got to commit. So I bought it.
Okay.
I used it like 2-3 times. I'm like, this is hard. I can't do this. And I'm like, I can't get a refund either. So.
I've had those moments too. True.
We all have.
But yeah. All right. That's great though. But regardless of what you say, clearly like it you know what you're doing. Like I love a lot of the stuff you play with the zooming and everything. And
this little
like, yeah, dude, you get it. You're. I wish I could do that, and I'll need tips at some point. But yes. All right. That said, what we normally do here is talk toys and a bunch of random geeky stuff. Not all toys. So we're going to do that. And then at the bottom, folks, there's this thing that's coming around right around here, and you'll see a URL. Because I'm a visual person, Mario, like I need to see stuff. So I sometimes get annoyed. Like I love the Migos. They'll pull up the thing and we're looking at the stuff as we're talking. Gets me when people mention stuff and I can't see it because that's just, I can't focus, but also like I want to see the visuals clearly because I'm paying attention to your depth of field and your lighting and your I'm driven that way.
Yeah.
So if you want to see that stuff, the URL down there, and then there should be a QR code popping out right in front of his face. There you go, down by he's there. You can go to that on the replay. The links will be there while we're live. Thanoscopter is in the chat, and we'll be dropping those in, and because he's just awesome and helpful like that. So thank you, Thanos. All right, so let's go and do that. Let's get started. But first, actually, there's a couple people who've dropped in since we started talking. First off, Dave's Dimension is here. Hello, Dave. Great to see you, as always, sir. Twizzler19, good evening. Twizzlers. That's
you like Twizzlers?
At some point. I don't, but it's been a long time.
Yeah.
I'm in that age where I generally eat pretty healthy, and then I cheat, and I'm cheating right now. And so when I'm cheating, I start to think of all the crap that I've supposedly been missing. And then I binge, like, Machuto. The weird logic that we have.
It makes sense to me, man.
Here. So here, see, look, dude, Toy Migo right there. There's Machu. And then again, Toy Migo. There's Erwin Papa. Like, we're everywhere. You can't escape us. You get for colonizing us. We're everywhere. Let's see. We were on a break, says Josh. 796 is here. Justin B, look, you're here. And then Zio, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Different times. Yes, it's tomorrow. Whatever it is. Lone Dragon is here. Hashtag giveaway on his channel, wherever that is. So find it, and he's going to give you stuff he promised. And all right. Let's talk toys. First, let's move us out of the way. Oh, look, that's weird. You're all the way down there. I'm very mindful of personal space.
No, this is perfect. I can stretch. That's great.
I think that must be because, let me see. What did we do? Oh, yeah, because it was me, Jason, and and I'm just talking blah 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 because I'm trying to kill time while I do that. All right. So we are going to talk toys. Oh, this is a spoiler. That's the wrong window. Did I just do that? Did I do that? Okay. Let's start talking toys. First off, I know I say this is the BS news. I don't actually talk news, but this one is actual news. So friend of the channel, Kenpo, fun fact, Chinese, born in the Philippines, born and raised in the Philippines, now in Vancouver. He has a toy company with Steve up in Canada, and it's called Delta 17. No, forget the name of the company. The toy line is called Delta 17. 3.75 classic O-ring style. Is this something you've seen before?
Dude, this is my first time seeing it. This looks cool.
Yeah, it's totally like that awesome, like embracing the old love for the old Joes and the old Buck Rogers, if folks are that old. But bringing in, new aspects. There's some new elements of articulation and definitely like newer sculpting technology. And so it's a military line. It's got this whole sort of like shadow war kind of story, hence the war in the shadows thing. But it's news because June 20th to the 22nd in Joe Fest, they have their exclusive, and this is their little desert 2-pack. Totally hits that like sort of nostalgic vibe, but they're mixing in a little bit of that, more of that sci-fi kind of thing going on. This is the desert 2-pack. And Ken knows I'm not a big 3.75 guy right now, but he does know that I'm a big indie toy supporter.
Did you ever have any of the old O-ring Joes back in the day?
Oh yeah. Me and my brother were Joe collectors. Like that was one of the things where we were relatively complete to the point where Mom and Dad actually back in the day got a frickin' flag one year for Christmas.
Really?
You're familiar with the big old gigantic ridiculous flag?
Have
you seen those? Like the ridiculous huge aircraft carrier that fits in a room.
Yeah.
So
they got
us that. Yeah, we got that as kids. We set it up twice because it really filled up an entire room. We set up once right after Christmas, and it was there and we had to clean it up before New Year's. So it was up for a couple of days. And then it just sat in the closet in the box. I think it was in the garage, actually, in the box.
Dude, you might be the first person that I ever met that actually had that.
Yeah, I'm a spoiled brat. Is what you? No,
I'm glad you picked up on that, and I didn't have to say that.
No, it's cool because remember, I didn't get the Honda Civic. I got Lolo's hand-me-down.
Oh man, dude, I would have traded my Honda Civic for a flag.
But yeah, we did get them. I think there's probably a story there of dad working through some kind of guilt issues and trying. Anyways, that said, this is what they've got going on. I don't know if folks are going to be out in Joe Fest. Have you ever done Joe Fest?
No, I don't really Joe too much, but I know they have other stuff out there. But I would like to check it out. This looks cool though. I like this.
Yeah, I'm not a Joe. I'm not a modern Joe collector at all. My brother was definitely more the Joe impetus. I think I was definitely leaning more towards like Star Wars as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, there were ninjas, there were robots, there were cool blue terrorists that I got into. But I'm with you. When I saw this, so this was like a little robot that they did that reminds me of like remember that gosh, what was that? It's a video game where you're like running around. It's kind of like Running Man, the movie, where it's like supposed to be a game show and you're running around and you're fighting killer robots, and you know, that sound ring a bell? An old arcade game. Anyway, they had like these giant tank-driven robot guys. Chat. Anybody as old as me remember that?
That's not ringing a bell at all.
Oh, now I'm gonna have to go find it.
Yeah.
But these things are, you know, they got like little hooks like this because one of the things that the line is looking to do is remember the old Hind Soviet helicopter that I think it was like Blue Thunder, or there was a Autobot helicopter back in the day that was this like really cool, funky looking helicopter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember.
Anyway, they're making that, and the idea is that it'll like hook on and they can carry it and do all these kind of cool things. But
dude, this reminds me of old school Gundam, the gun tank.
Yep.
And it was a 1979 mecha design, and this looks exactly, or in the same kind of, you know, upper torso and then lower body tank, you know.
Yep.
So,
yep. It's a cool looking thing, and you know, obviously they did this thing kind of as an homage or tribute to the classic kind of Cobra colors. Anyway, all that to say is they have those things that are going to be available at Joe Fest. They wanted folks to know that they're doing weapons packs as well. These are modeled after real life guns, I believe. I'm a little rusty in my gun knowledge, but this is the breakdown. They wanted to let folks know the exclusive 2-pack, $45 for those two guys, which is, you know, if they cost that much when I was a kid, we wouldn't have gotten a flag. But welcome to 2025. And then $5 during the show. But then once the show's over, I think they're going to be $7 on their site. The two exclusive figures, they said, will be available on the site for those of us who can't attend and are interested. See, I'm multitasking because I was going to find the name of that video game and I found it.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. I'll get to it in a second. But and then these guys are going to be available for $40. So $5 for the weapons until after. Those will be $7. And then the two figures will be available. I think they said June 30th. So I did my part in conveying actual news, I believe.
Yeah, I'm much more informed now. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome, sir. And yeah, Lone Dragon, I haven't seen Ken in a while. He's been busy, but he's around. And the clubhouse has been a little bit chill. Nolan saying that Delta 17 2-pack looks great. I think Nolan has been grabbing those. Blake, however, 5x5 Toys, thank you, is the name of the toy company. But Blake is very much entrenched in the 3.75 Joy toy world, especially Warhammer.
God have mercy on your soul.
Yes, but they're gorgeous, right?
I do. I had to jump out of that line early on because I'm like, there's no way that I can keep up, you know?
Yeah. But you wait, you started?
I do when I went to Toronto for the first time. When we did Enablers Toronto, I was on the fence.
Yeah.
I was on the fence. I'm like, I don't know if I want to get into this because I've always loved, Warhammer or their designs at least. And I think I tried to paint a couple minis. But we went to Heroes World and they had some for sale. And I'm like, well, I need to buy something since I'm here. So I bought that. And then I picked up a few more after that. And I'm like, I can't do this. There's just too many. So, and that was a couple of years ago. And now there's just, dude, there's way too much, but they look great and they keep on improving. And I love them. They're great figures. I still have a couple, mainly the waifus and one, intercessor, I think.
Aren't they wearing too much armor for you though?
No, the silhouette is still there, man. I appreciate everything,
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to put you in a box like that. My bad. Okay. But here it is. See, the people knew. I knew I had some fellow olds here. It is Smash TV, not what you think. It's this Smash TV. Yes, Smash TV. And it was very much like Running Man, like the full-on like game show where you run around or you die. Did you watch Running Man back in the day? Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No.
No? Okay.
I have not. No. But I do remember. Okay. I do remember this cover though. That second image there. I do remember that.
Yeah. You remember this? Okay. Yeah, because this was the NES sort of home version, and then this is the guy I was referring to. Totally like robot.
That's exactly
lower body guy. Yeah. See, Ryan Clark remembers. But yes, Smash TV. And then yes, the Russian Hind as seen in Rambo 3, if that rings bells. Hey, Allison, good to see you. All right, that's enough of that. Kenpo Delta 17, check it out. Go to Joe Fest. Since we're on the guns and Joe thing, let's hop over to this. Gridiron Studios, you familiar with their work?
Mm-hmm.
You've seen like they printed. Yeah. They just announced what is it? Yesterday? Is yesterday 30th? No, 2 days ago. They're releasing this thing called the Phalanx. It is 23 inches long, 11 inches wide, and about 11 inches tall.
That's crazy.
It's and as far as I know, it's all done like in-house with 3D printing, not injection molded. And it's huge, and I think it's a pretty cool design. Like, yeah, you can totally tell.
You can see the layer lines.
Mm-hmm. But we're just living in crazy times, right? You've got your Hasbro, Mattel doing their toys. You got these indie toy lines doing the whole factory thing, and then you've got other folks who are doing like damn good looking toys and accessories.
Mm-hmm.
Start off as accessories. Like Gridiron's fully doing toys. They've been doing vehicles. They've been doing like add-on parts for G.I. Joe vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're just straight up saying, hold my beer. Here's a vehicle.
Yeah, let me give you the ultimate accessory.
Yeah. That thing, it's killer. It's huge. I'm assuming it's going to have like rubber tires and the whole nine.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's wild to me. And I don't know if the price is up, but I'm sure it's I don't even know. And
it'd be cool if they drop the files for sale, and then people with their own printers like me could just print that out.
If you were to print it, like my brother and I were talking about this, how long does it take to print this, and at what point does it become not worth it?
I mean,
because this is a lot of printing, right?
Yeah, it could probably take like a week to print. It really depends on the printer you have, right? But it seems like it's there's probably like 3 or 4 main big sections that would probably take out a bunch of time, but then all those little parts would take a bunch of time too. But
and then source the tires somewhere?
Yeah, you could probably get like some RC tires, some truck tires,
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did with my old 3 3/4 Joe, like the was it the Vamp or I don't know. But I like swapped out. Yeah, I swapped over
Mm-hmm.
the plastic tires for some big rubber tires, and like went to like the local hobby town and picked up some RC like crawler tires or something, you know. So I'm sure that'd be easy to source out.
Sure, and you know that's probably not too far from what they're doing. I can't assume they like had somebody produce tires, but then went to like 3D printing to produce their own thing. Anyway,
it's $400.
Just thought it was a cool. Yeah. Again, this is like not exactly the news. This is more of the like, hey, this is cool. I'm not gonna buy it personally, but like, how rad is that it exists?
Yeah, that's cool.
But for those of you who want it, you know, Nana Robledo decided that they were gonna buy a flag for that. I don't know, maybe it's a little less than that, but 200 or something.
The flag back in the day? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But
So
$200 back in the day is like, yeah, $200. Like if you account for inflation, that's
right?
like $30,000 now. So.
Oh, I like your inflation calculator. Woo!
Yeah, it's
That's
all
insane.
it's yeah.
What's up, Dorlaxin? Andrew. All right. What are folks saying about Gridiron? Blake is just saying, I just bought the Gridiron Phantom Hound with an upgrade kit. Can't wait. Mark and the fam are killing it in Gridiron. And that's the thing. Like, they truly are like, you know, artisans and artists. This is artisanal, organic, locally sourced toys right here. So I think it's cool. If you can swing it space-wise, money-wise, and you're looking for like truly like a limited piece, because like how many are they going to be making of these? This is definitely, it would be a cool thing to have.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll watch from afar, but it's big. Go big or go to Lago. All right. You mentioned that these Hasbro figs, these Marvel Legends Gamerverse figs, that, what was it, this past week, Thursday or so?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're a big Legends guy, right?
No, I'm not.
No,
I'm not. In fact,
sorry. You're a Marvel guy, but not necessarily Legends.
I'm a Capcom guy, Marvelverse Capcom guy. You know.
Okay.
Also, I'm a big Psylocke guy.
Okay.
But I like I said, like we were talking about this earlier. I've been playing a lot of fighting games, and Marvel vs. Capcom 2 has been one of those recent games that I've been playing. So when I saw this, I'm like, oh yeah. But the thing is, I'm not a Legends guy. I've been saying for the past 5 years, right, since maybe the first episode of Enablers, that I'm out on Legends. And this relationship that I have with Hasbro and Legends has just become probably the most toxic relationship I've ever had my entire life. Or it's like, I was talking to Macho about this. It's like that one dude, that has that girlfriend that they're constantly fighting. Either they're broken up one week, they're back together the next week. I was just coming off of this, like, this, I guess, hate tour on the Maximum Hulk because I saw that.
I saw that video of yours. Yes.
And just to clarify, I wasn't hating on it. I was disappointed in this because it fell short of the standards that Hasbro put out for themselves. They called it a Maximum Hulk and didn't give it the maximum treatment.
They called their shot and then kind of, I get it. They oversold it, right? They said this is going to be the best Hulk ever, essentially, and they said that you do the clap. Although I've heard people say that the clap is. I've seen different people show us, like, if you push it hard enough. Have you?
Yeah,
have you gone back on that?
I went back and because Machu and Jay Hernandez were like, oh, you can actually get more range. So when you really have to like crank it over, right? I guess my joints might have been too tight, or maybe I was too afraid to like really push the limits of that soft torso.
Sure.
But he can get the clap, but it doesn't fix all the other issues, right? So again, I wanted a really good Hulk. I don't have a Hulk. I sold all the other Hulks that I had in my collection and put all my eggs in one basket, this Hulk basket, right? And it fell short. So I was like, you know what, man, this sucks, dude. I'm done. I had the X-Force 2-pack, you know, the X23 and Warpath, and I had the Archangel, and I'm like, I'm not even going to open these. I'm just going to sell them. I'll take a loss. I took like a $20 loss on them. I'm like, I'm going to get rid of it because I'm done. And then literally the next day, they show this, and I'm like, oh, man, they look great. And I think I need to get all of them, minus maybe War Machine. But you know what I mean? It's this constant push, pull, up, down, and I'm like, oh my God, dude. And I'm sure these figures are going to fall short.
The toxic cycle is what it is?
Yeah, we're back to dating again. Yeah, we're currently dating at the time. Yeah, so.
Okay. Well, Amachu like is saying that these are fully your fault. So in many ways, like you laid the groundwork for Marvel versus Capcom. And then you got in this weird relationship, and you're like, "Oh, I'm done with them." And then they pulled you back in because they know what your interests are. They know you too well.
This is her trying to like get on my good side, pulling at my heartstrings. You know what I mean? Like taking me out for steak. It's like, you know, I love steak. All right. I guess we're back together.
Oh, that's rough. Well, okay. So then would you then agree with some of the things that people are sort of saying? Here's Machu saying every time he says he's out on Legends.
Wait, also, can you highlight Trevor's comment, please?
Which
1-6 shooter.
Oh, he's here. That's right. Sorry, I didn't get that far down. Hulk Gets the Clap was one of the worst runs in the comic.
I don't know, man. People are split on that. Some might say it's the best, but.
Ooh. Yeah, that's got to be a serious case. Anyway, but yes, what's up, Trevor? Thank you for bringing STIs into the show. Appreciate it. Radioactive STIs even. Yeah. So as far as these go, though, would you agree with some of the sentiment that folks are sharing, like saying that this is some of the best, like here, Rick Jones. Oops, sorry, that was saying that peak Marvel Legends. Is that what we're looking at here?
I mean, I think so. I agree. I think, you know, for the majority of that I could remember, like Legends never nailed the silhouette, right? Of, you know, certain characters. And I get it, right? They're a toy company. They have to make money. So they make these generic molds and they just slot people in, right? They're like, all right, you know, Psylocke is going to look just like Jean Grey, right? We'll put them on the same Buck or Rogue, whatever, right?
Yep.
Right. And I've been saying this for the past however many months, ever since Marvel Rivals came out. I've been wanting like a super stylized, exaggerated, you know, more comic-y, more cartoony, like Marvel figure, right? And I think that's one of the reasons why I like Reveltech, because they're so exaggerated, over the top, stylized. And but the prices are crazy. And this, it's kind of hitting that mark, you know? I mean, Psylocke looks like she's got a little more meat on her bones, which is always a good thing. When we get to the Wolverine, he's much beefier, which I really like. So I think this might be, and again, this is just the promo pictures. We really don't know. And there's a lot of reuse. Sure. Right. But I think this might be some of the, you know, some of the best work that they're putting out, just based off of the looks alone. I mean, we'll see when we get figures in hand. But I think this Wolverine looks great, despite, you know, him having single joints, which if it gets the job done, I don't care if it has single joints or double joints, right? But yeah, I agree. And I think, yeah.
Oh, I was just going to ask, as far as getting the job done in this case, I'm assuming it's both. The articulation is one piece, but it's really capturing the look as well to sell the Capcom aesthetic.
Yeah, and I you know, you can't have it all, you know, at whatever this price point's going to be. I think it's going to be $60 for a 2-pack, but like, you know, compromises need to be made, and I think this is fine. You know, it's getting the job done, right? You can't expect it all,
man. Sorry, I'm just keep thinking about your analogy of the toxic relationship, and now they brought.
Am I making excuses for my shitty girlfriend?
Yeah, and then you're like, "Oh, I love her. Yeah, she's great."
Oh yeah, dude. But you know what?
Like, oh, man, this is awkward. But
yes, I love how you called me out. No. It's awkward. Yeah, dude. And you know what? because I want this so much. This is like, you know, the dream where it's like, oh, I want like the big house in the suburbs with the yard and the dog, you know? It's like, yeah, it looks like it, but wait until we get it in hand. Maybe it's going to suck, you know?
Sure.
This pack, I could live without this pack.
You can leave this one, yeah.
And there's some things that I really don't like too. It's like, it's crazy that we're still seeing the pins, right? And again, it's not, when Marvel or Hasbro first introduced the pinless technology, I'm like, okay, it's nice, I guess. I wasn't like, you know, over the moon for it.
Right. It didn't.
But
that didn't change everything, and you fell completely in love. Right.
Yeah, it wasn't like a game changer. I'm like, oh, that's nice. That's a nice touch, right? But they were pushing it hard. And then it's just weird to see that they pushed it so hard, but yet in 2025, you know, we're halfway through the year, we're still seeing this stuff. And I'm like, now it's an eyesore when I see it. And if you put a Legends with pinless versus pins, it doesn't even look like they're in the same brand. You know, it kind of looks so off, so.
It is interesting to see the evolution of the figures and then have that, you know, I get it. It's jarring. Yeah. But also counterpoint, I guess, like with Legends, it's always evolved. Like that's a thing about, it's actually a maybe not quite a selling point for me, because even though I was a comic book guy, right, I would get bummed when I really fell in love with an artist and then the next artist would come around and draw them differently and I wasn't into it.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of a thing for me with things like Marvel Legends, where the art direction changes a little bit. Some of the style changes. I don't know why. Like, you know, I'm heavily invested in, say, things like whether it's AWOC or Mythic Legions. Both of those have a clear art direction, and so far it's been consistent throughout. Yeah. And for some reason that works in my brain. I like that.
Because it's consistent.
That said, it's Marvel. It is. The problem, though, is it's Marvel. And this is the thing that I'm always talking with folks, whether they're critical of, say, the MCU or even Marvel Legends, where it's like, man, I grew up, even though I said what I just said about the artist, I'd be bummed about it, but I still collected them and I still read them. And I sat through writers that I hated and, you know, artists that I hated. And then eventually something good came along. And there was something interesting about that, where it's like, I realized I actually loved, maybe I'm describing a toxic relationship.
Yeah, I know. I was about to call you out. I'm like, someone sounds like they're making excuses.
But I realized what I fell in love with was the world, right? The universe and the characters in general versus maybe the details, which is maybe also a mature way of looking at relationships. We realize we love the person in its totality.
Yeah. Also, you can kind of think that maybe love is just what are you willing to tolerate to keep this thing in your life?
Oh man, I've totally had that thought. Not about you, Joanna, but I've had that thought of,
yeah, you be careful.
Like, it's true. No, I have kids. And so there is something to be said, and I teach. So there is something to be said about learning to come to peace with what's in front of you, because they're awesome. They're amazing. And you love them, right? Whether that's my students' room. So some would call that, you're just accepting the flaws and, you know, you're making excuses, but others would maybe call that an act of love. Dude, this is not what we signed up to talk about today, friend. So back to the big giant squiddy thing with an eyeball in it.
The Shumagorath? Oh my God, dude. Yeah. This is a dream come true. Although he is a little bit bigger, like it's out of scale for MVC too.
For the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what kind of like new technology. It kind of looks like it's an inflatable, you know? I'm like, I hope it's not an inflatable, but doesn't it look like it?
I don't think it is.
No, it's not. There's no way it would be, but
I'm assuming it's so like right about here, you get the joint in hard plastic, and right about here you get like an attachment that's essentially like a wired thing, right? And so, hence the posing and stuff. And Hasbro actually has kind of like messed around, whether it's like some of the Power Rangers creatures, they mess with like different plastics and stuff. And so I could see them really pulling this off. Or the D&D like creatures had some funky like wiry stuff too. The Hasbro Dungeons and Dragons stuff. So it seems like they're playing with that kind of tech.
Yeah, no, it seems like Hasbro Legends is playing with the soft material technology. I mean, we just got that Hulk, right? I'm sure some of that stuff isn't here. I mean, maybe they acquired, or found a factory that could deliver on stuff like this, and it's opening, new opportunities for them. But I think this looks great. I like it. I have to get it. I have to get it. And I hate that I have to get it, but I do.
Yeah. Well, I don't even collect Legends, and this is one that I'm quote unquote have to get. Here, you can see that bend right there. I bet there's even not even just a wire. I bet there's an actual like articulated armature in there. It's like struck like a storm, maybe, right?
It could be, yeah. This
here,
thing,
because it folds right here. That's I think the clue for me. See how it bends almost flat?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that tells me there's a skeleton, an articulated maybe arm in there that, and the rubber kind of is round above it and can flatten, and
Yeah, I hope it's wire, because if it's any sort of like articulated skeleton, that's just going to limit the posing. And what if it breaks in there? How are you going to repair that? So I hope it is bendy wire, and I can't imagine it not being bendy. But you could use this for like other. This doesn't have to be for Legends or Marvel or.
Oh, yep.
You can use exactly this with your waifus.
Like, yeah, you could do some for the old people, Legend of the Overfiend kind of action going on. But you can do that. You can do. I can fight. Conan. One of the many Conan figures that are out now can fight Gargantos/Shumagorath. So
yeah,
there's that, and then there's this guy, which to me was my favorite, and he's slowly coming up.
Yeah, baby.
This guy.
Oh my god.
God. That go. Talk about the big giant man.
When I was a kid, and MVC came out, or actually it was X-Men. Was it Children of the Atom or whatever the X-Men fighting game was?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the Juggernaut was a boss, right? And he took up like half the screen, full screen, half the screen, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, oh my god, this is Juggernaut, right? Like I loved X-Men the animated series, right? And I had the Toy Biz, and I would just sit there and imagine, what if Toy Biz had made a box deluxe Juggernaut that was the size, double or triple the size of like this Wolverine that I have, this 5-inch Wolverine, right? And I'm like, it could happen. But I think deep down inside, I knew it was never going to happen, right? And although, like, the Marvel Select was, the one that came out like 5-7 years ago, I have no idea, was big, the Juggernaut, and I'm like, oh, this is it. It has the look, but it can't move. So I've been waiting for this. Like, and the old Legends Juggernaut was pretty good too for the time, but this thing just looks like a maximum Juggernaut. You know what I'm saying? Like they gave him the treatment. So I'm excited for this. I think he'll hit all the poses that I need him to do. I don't see anything that I can like nitpick too much on. I need to get him in hand. I need to check it out and see how. I mean, he's huge. Look at that thing, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It was Children of the Atom, which that was a fighting game, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking initially the 4-player one, but he wasn't that big in that 4-player.
No. Yeah,
it was called. Here, where was the? Let me see if I can get this in here. This is what you're referring to. Yeah, he was gigantic.
Yeah, and he doesn't quite have that silhouette. The Legends doesn't, right?
No,
I think the Mondo, that vinyl, that's a Fubi, that one, and I was so close to buying that just to have that look, right? But this will get the job done. Again, making excuses, but I don't think we'll ever get like a true, accurate. Go ahead.
Yeah, you have high. No, I was gonna. You have high standards because I look at this and this more than gets the job done for me. And I was right there with you when I heard the other folks on when you guys were talking about it on Toy Amigos saying like, oh, you could get this Mondo James Groman vinyl Juggernaut for its look and throw it into with your Legends. And I kept thinking like, oh yeah, but man, imagine if it was articulated. Then I saw this thing the other day and I was like, okay, yeah, there you go. Here's my money. I'll throw it in that giant hand of yours, and let's go. So between this and Shumagora, that's where I'm at for these. And it seems like other folks are feeling what they were sharing. I think people have different things that they want to see. So we already said Rick Jones said this is peak. Oh, here we go with the maximum. I'm going to skip that. I'm trying to go. If Thanos' shoulder mantle ever breaks, should be easily replaceable with a slice of cheese, referring to that orange Thanos of ours. Let's see. Here it is, Zio. So Zio's breaking it down in terms of like being on model or not, saying he wants them all, but he's going to paint War Machine's legs because they're supposed to be all black. At least that's the design by Bengus. Then there's like the folks who are like already thinking around Gamerverse and just think about what else could we get, like Rivals figures, right? Have they said if that was something they were thinking about?
No, I don't even think they know Rivals exist yet. They probably do, but it'll be years before we get any Rivals figures, and I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know if I would want Legends to do it. You know, I mean, they'd probably be the only one to give us like, you know, a decently sized roster, but I still would like Yamaguchi to take on
I was gonna say
Rivals, you know.
Someone from an import company, because I think they get the look.
Yeah, because they're just so over the top beefy, you know. And I mean, there's a lot of controversy with that game, you know, concerning their female characters. And I just don't see Hasbro Legends like doing a accurate depiction of, like, let's just say Emma Frost. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're gonna
right.
They're gonna walk that path.
Sure. Yeah. And if that doesn't make sense, we'll get to it. But to get Machu's comment in full context, saying if we get Rivals figures, it's going to be the in-between waves of Capcom inspired Gamerverse figures. There's an if there. So I get it. Rick Jones has the sentiment that I think a lot of people are saying, because they want one of those 2-pack figures and then they're going to end up with some extras. So Rick's not knowing what he's going to do with his 2 Silver Samurai, because he wants 2 caps, I'm assuming. Oh, no, sorry, 2 Wolvies. 2 Logans.
Well, you got to get that Wolverine, but that Silver Samurai comes with that big throwing star. And I'm like, oh my God, I need that accessory because it's in the game.
There you go, Rick. You can sell him one of yours, and then you can sell the extra Samurai to Rick. To Justin is pointing out to Rick that you can sell to the Fallen Fett Ernie for $5 Ross prices. Let's see. Yeah, you got to figure out a custom to do with one. But yes, people are saying that Wolvie looks great. The stylized like head and boot top, whatever you want to call them, look great.
Yeah.
Psylocke 2.
Yep.
Folks are feeling it. So the Machu Toy wants to point out that Shuma is staring at you like the X knows he got him.
Give me the eye.
She got him. Yeah. You know the eye. A pink Shuma. That sounds hot, but that's right. So was that like a you hold down and that's the
it's a different player 2 color or a different player color. Yeah, and I think that's inevitable. I think they they'll probably be like GameStop exclusives or something like that, like 2P colors or whatever.
Who was it? Yeah, Josh is saying he thinks they definitely said bendy. So
okay.
I wonder though. I suspect a kind of a thing where there's joints and then maybe the ends are bendy, kind of like the end of Beathir's tail, or some of the new snake body for Legions. But who knows? We shall see. Danos says figure looks great. I'm assuming, Justin, clarify for us. Are you talking Shuma or are you talking Jugs? Because then we got into here, and I'm pretty sure this was all Juggernaut related.
Yeah, I mean,
he's getting Juggernaut.
Yeah, and that'd be wild. That'd be wild to ever see a Legends take the figure of the year in my list.
That would be wild.
I don't think they've made the list for quite some time, if ever.
We'll see. I am curious. I don't want to sway you either way.
Yeah.
Let's see. Does the helmet come off? I heard no. It does not come off. How much do we think it is?
Oh man, I don't know, dude. I'm hoping 60. I'm hoping 60, and you know, nothing above that. It could be.
I'm
80,
thinking
though.
60.
60 would make 60 would make sense.
I don't think they do 80 at retail yet.
Yeah, that would definitely price people out, right? Especially you know, Juggernaut. You know, Hulk was 60, and I think this makes sense. You know, the Venom was 60. Yeah, it would just make sense, but we know sometimes nothing makes sense with them. So
I'm thinking 60, and I'm also wondering and want to see them continue with this, and I want to see Colossus in this line because that might be my Colossus.
Yeah. Colossus was a thick boy in the in this.
I'm into it. Maybe that's your next. You did the top 10 waifus of 2024. Maybe that's your top 10 thick boys for 2025.
Top 10 thick boys? I like thick boys. Nobody clip that, please. Nobody.
Okay.
Don't send it to plastic.
And then everyone loves big jugs. I mean, some of us, you know, love variety, but you know, big hands, definitely big hands. And it's weird. It works. That was just like, that was the zeitgeist, man. It was like that whole like new graffiti style animation. Everyone was doing like wonky proportions intentionally, and it was cool. So, all right, let's go ahead and move along from the Hasbro figs. Move along. This again was this, and then let's move into, speaking of gigantic, ridiculously oversized Marvel things.
Yeah, what the hell is this?
Do you know Hans 1-0 Customs?
No. Oh yeah, I do. Yeah. Oh, he's crazy. He
yes.
First time I ever saw his work, he was printing out these 1/12 scale Transformers. I'm like, what? This is nuts.
Yep. So he decided I need a 1/12 Leopardon as well for Spider-Man, and started doing this. Another toy Migo, by the way. But Hans is crazy. He is jumping in on these like gigantic things that people make the STL files. In this case, it was Green Wolf Toy Collector, and he prints them out. He, I believe that he just is printing out. I should remember. We sat down on the show and talked about it, but I believe he's actually printing out the plastic in the color, and then just kind of putting the parts together, right?
Yeah, he's choosing the filament. Dude, here's a funny story. So I think Between Two Sentinels had him on, right? And you know, they do their promo. They put, you know, his picture up, and then Kev just hits me up. He's like, "Yo, you're hopping on the Sentinels today as the guest?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Oh, wait, I thought that was you." He's like, "That guy looks like you."
Oof. Did you get triggered? Did you lash out on him?
Yeah, I gave him the business. I'm like, "Oh, I bet we all look the same, huh?"
Oh man.
Oh, sorry, Kev. I don't mean to put you on blast, but he's probably not watching.
No, he's definitely not watching. It's okay. I've come to terms with it. But yeah, no, this Leopardon is dope. Hans is like one of the coolest guys out there, and he's just having fun. He's like, I see a thing, I want to do it. And whether it's a custom, whether it's a printing out something ridiculously large, it's so cool to see all these different Spider-Men on there. It's like straight out of the comic books when they all kind of came together, and Leopardon shows up, and look at that. Full on insane, like cockpit. Man. That's like stuff. Power Ranger style, right? You could like, what were you saying about the printed stuff?
I'm saying this requires like a ton of patience, you know. I mean, this thing probably took days, if not weeks, to print out, you know.
And these are thick pieces, so I'm assuming they might be hollow or whatever, but they're fat, right?
Yeah. The way they're printed out, there's like an infill, which is, you know, just whatever, and you could set the percentage to be a little more dense, but then your print time will be even crazier, or make it a little bit thinner, but then it might be a little weaker. But yeah, this guy's a pro, so I'm sure he knows what he's doing.
There's a video of this bad boy that was in progress. You can kind of see like the gigantic Transformers in the back there too. Just crazy, so good.
Yeah,
and he doesn't even keep them. Some of them he keeps, some of them he sort of they move on to other homes. But it's more if it's the doing, and
dude, that's
so cool.
I get that. That's how I am. I don't own a single dio I've ever made. I have none here.
Nice. Well, it's out in the world, and this thing is really cool. Yeah, that's all. I love cool things. I love well, I don't love oversized things, but this is cool. Big Marvel. There you go. That was a segue. I just want to take credit for that segue. All right, moving on. I don't know what the segue is here. Oh, look, this is unprofessional. Oh, see, I took all that skill, that production value.
You walked it back immediately. Walked it back. Jeez.
Yeah.
But it was okay. We got to see a glimpse of Psylocke again, which I'm not mad at.
Yeah. Oh, it gets better.
This is a nice treat.
Right. Yes. Tell the folks about this.
So this is Fury Toys Sun Wukong that they announced. God, man, like what, 2 years ago? It's been on pre-order.
Maybe like a year and a half. Maybe about. No, you're right. I think you might be right. Actually,
I think they announced it.
Time.
Yeah, they announced it.
You're right.
And then it went up for pre-order like a while later. And I forgot I had this on pre-order, right? And I pre-ordered both versions.
You got the damaged version?
Yeah, and the accessory pack too, because I was like, I love the look of this. And I had actually Chamba had gifted me the Noda Sun Wukong, and he didn't like it enough to keep it. That's why he gave it to me. And then I got it, and then I modded it a little bit, and I'm like, it's okay, you know. But I want a really good one, and I hope that this is going to be the figure because he's got the look that I really like. Some of the other companies that are doing him I don't know, they just don't nail the look for me. Maybe it looks a little too realistic. This guy's got like kind of the realism, but like also the anime cartoony vibe, a little bit of a playful vibe. But anyways, I forgot I pre-ordered this until I saw this post, and I'm like, oh yeah, you should include a free bonus for making us wait this long that I forgot I actually ordered this. But it's a nice gesture.
It's a cool bonus, man. It's a really cool bonus. And I know some people were concerned. I know Zio was saying on the Toy Migos Discord, like, wait, is this just for 5K? Because 5K is the one who announced that if you ordered this, that you're getting a free figure, basically. This little guy, this cute little baby Wukong with a shortened staff and everything, like alt heads. Like you're basically
Kid Goku.
Completely. Yeah. I mean, literally, right? Goku was that. Yeah. That's what Goku was based on. Yeah. If they threw in the cloud, that would have been it right there.
Yeah.
Which again comes from Sun Wukong. But this thing, it's cool, and you totally get that the want of the sort of more illustrated, animated look. Yeah, like I have the Noda one, which definitely has more of a photorealistic vibe to it. The Figure Obscura 4 Horsemen one definitely is like straight up like a, like that.
That's an art piece. Yeah. I had that one.
It is, but it's more photorealistic, right? 100%. This captures that. And this thing is going to, at least the actual figure is going to articulate wildly. And then this thing looks maybe less movable and posable, but still, it's cool. It's a little kid.
It's a nice
little kid monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're getting this, and we don't know yet if everybody's getting it. And if you came to my show looking for all the details and accurate information, psych. But it's a great looking thing.
He's got articulated toes. That's cool.
That's what I was wondering. Does he?
Well, it's a toe hinge.
It looked like there was a
toe. Yeah, toe.
You think so?
It looks like a toe hinge. Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
Or maybe no. You know what? It might not be.
I went back and forth too because it looks like it might be articulated, like a cut right there, but it also might look like
it's not. They got me. Wow. Oh, I hate this thing now. Made me look foolish on stream. I don't like it anymore.
I think we're understanding the whole relationship thing with you now. That's what it is, man. You're nitpicking. You got to accept, man.
I'm a hard person to be with.
You gotta listen to a little bit more Bruno Mars, man, because you're amazing just the way you are.
Dude, my mom loves Bruno Mars so much that she sings all his songs, but she doesn't know any of the words.
I love your mom. And she got that accent too, right? So
she does, yeah.
Getting mixed into the.
Yep.
Love it. And I said, I love your mom, but in the most respectful, loving way.
That's how I took it.
Take note, folks.
That's how I took it.
Take notes. Because that's how we're talking about women on this stream today.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, hey, there's this guy. He's got this Instagram. He's got all sorts of women on his Instagram. He loves the women. But before we get there, go ahead.
I don't have too many women on my Instagram.
No, you don't. Actually, you don't. I think you've got about
I take 10, them down.
11. 10, oh, is that what happens? Okay.
Well, I post it up for a little bit and then I take it down. Yeah. Go ahead.
Again, with the I like them for a little bit, but then I hide them. But anyway, 796 Studios is this guy, and this is his Instagram. And talk to me about the Cyberpunk thing. Is that a not the capital C edge runners, but just Cyberpunk as a genre? Is that something you've always been into?
Yeah, I guess. I guess. I think for as long as I can remember, I've always been to that. Akira has always been one of the my most favorite animes, right? And that's very cyberpunk. I think maybe.
Yeah, Akira.
I don't know. I guess it's just the vibe, right? It's usually it's Neo Japan stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like helmets and sci-fi stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
mixed with fly fashion and jackets, right?
Yeah, dude, you got to have the swag too. And there's a swagger that the cyberpunk genre has, right? Especially modern cyberpunk. The older cyberpunk stuff is really cool, Blade Runner, that's still cool. It's a vibe, it's a noir type thing. But in terms of again the modern stuff, dude, the colors. Look at that first image right there. That's straight up cyberpunk palette. I think I might have even looked up hex codes to see what color combinations I could use. Yeah, I mean that's how crazy I was when I was doing photography, right?
Damn, and, meticulous. I love it.
And Machu actually helped me with because I had an idea for that blade to go through, and I think he helped me Photoshop that. Oh, no. He did a video where he was tracking the blade, right? But I remember I'm I need to make this blade look like a translucent blade. So, and I didn't know how to do that. So it's an actual Marvel Legends blade that I cut in half and I put one end in the chest and the other one sticking outside, right? But I went to sleep and I had a video on repeat, a tutorial on YouTube, how to do this effect. So when I woke up the next morning, I'm I was like Neo from the Matrix. I downloaded it in my brain. And then I did it. Yeah, I know Photoshop.
I know Kung Fu. I know Photoshop. I know translucent swords.
Yeah. So I really like this one. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. No, that's great. So there's some superimposing and some translucent opacity kind of stuff going on. And
I really just kind of adjusted the colors and all that. Put a mask around and adjust the colors. Yeah.
And talk to me about the damage, because this reminds me of when my cassette tapes broke. What's going on here?
It's actually steel wool. I just plucked some steel wool out of it. I put it down there. Cool. But yeah. Oh wow, cassettes, man! What a throwback.
Yeah, dude, I'm old. But yes, this is cool, man. It's a great it's a great cyberpunk shot. Yeah. Also, that's the reason I ask. I don't know how invested you are in the whole cyberpunk aesthetic. So. Yeah,
so that is probably that's my favorite thing ever on my grid. So I found this head sculpt on
this one.
I don't know. The Rude Boy head sculpt on CG Trader. Yeah. And I had just gotten my 3D printer, and I'm I need to practice something, right? And I found a helmet. It's a 1-on-1 helmet. And I'm okay, well, maybe I could shrink it down for action figures. But the thing is, I had to fill it. And I just had to learn how to make this into figure ready form so I could print it, right? So I was just testing it out and I printed it out. And the people that follow me, they loved it. They're like, oh my God, this should be your character. And I'm like, all right, let's call him Rude Boy. And I paint him up, and then he was just like in a ton of stories, doing pose sessions and whatever. And it kind of took a life of its own, right? And I wish I owned the rights to that helmet, because then I would have, launched a Kickstarter and mass produced some Rude Boy figures. But that's neither here nor there. But Chamba, my God, man, Chamba is the homie. He drew that Rude Boy. That picture, my profile picture, is his artwork, and I love that. It's one of two Chamba Rude Boy drawings, and I love that thing so much. It just looks so good, and that's been my profile image for years now.
Yeah.
The
colors are there, and and the way he treated the sort of painting, it's almost like a beautiful like airbrush metallic going on here. It's like it glows.
Yeah, it's the lighting. The way he simulated the lighting looks great. And I like the drawing more than I like the figure. And I wish the figure looked like the drawing, So, but I don't know. I love the cyberpunk genre, especially with Cyberpunk 2077 coming out. I played that game and I love that game. And then Edge Runners came out, and I'm all in. I'm all in on the art, the fashion, like even Guilty Gear Strive is a little cyberpunk too, and I love the look. It's absolutely cyberpunk. What am I talking about? Yeah, it's great.
The whole I definitely love the infusion of sort of Japanese tech into the whole cyberpunk. But I loved, like you said, Blade Runner and all of those things were fantastic. But once sort of Japan got a hold of it, and you mix in mechs in the way that we know them through manga and anime, and that helmet and the clothing and everything. But this bike, talk to me about this bike.
Oh man, I love that. I love that bike, dude. Yeah. Actually, you know what's funny?
What's the deal?
You know what's funny? Hold on. So I appreciate that, Zio. I appreciate that.
Yeah, legendary.
I saw, dude, I watch a lot of YouTube. I watch a lot of Gunpla videos, build videos. I think the channel is Kutan Builds. I can't remember, but he takes model cars, motorcycles, and he just either chops them up or I don't know, just does it to the 9, right? And I saw that. I'm like, I got to do that. So I did that, and then I bought 2 more model kits, and I've been meaning to do another one, right? And these have been sitting next to my desk for 3 years.
Oh, look at that! Look at that! Look at that! Wait, can you hold those up real quick? I want because you were cut off on the thing. Yeah. So you're looking to do those?
I mean, actually, before I did that bike, I took a 112 Maisto bike, and I chopped that up, and I turned that into Cyberpunk too. So there was a while where I was into modding up bikes. I took double cyclone model kit from Tiger Buddy, and I chopped that up. But yeah, this is pretty much just a cafe racer. I took I forgot which Ducati it was, but I just chopped it up, and I remember when I was done with it, I'm like, I need to take a photo of this. And I had, the only piece of diorama that I had was a street, just the asphalt. I'm like, what the hell can I do with this? I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna have to do a top-down shot and spray it. There's actually I did a reel of how I set it up and everything too.
Nice. So when you say spray it to get the wet look over here,
sprayed it with water. Yeah, and then so this was the original shot. And then my buddy, Alex and Richardson, who is probably one of the greatest photographers out there, go check him out if you haven't. He's like, dude, it's cyberpunk, man. You got to have trash on the ground. And I'm like,
yeah,
damn it, you're right. So
I
turned it into this, and my God, I'm so grateful that he gave me that feedback, because this is just so much better than that original trash photo, that minus the trash.
No, it was good. This was great. But Yeah, there's something about that. And like I'm expecting some of it to come up in camera, hang there for a little bit, shimmer, and then fly off. But yes. And this is Neo Tokyo. Unfortunately, they get all the new tech, but they stop cleaning.
Yeah, they stop caring about
yeah.
you know, the manners have gone out the window, you know.
Yes. This stuff is cool. And let's put manners out the window. No. Oh, actually, no. Let's not skip over this. I love these shots. I used this one in particular. I just love the symmetry and everything that's going on. That my brain loves a nice, tiny, well lit corridor. But
you
this
like
looks
the tight
great. Lighting
enclosed?
on him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I do. Nothing.
You're like feeling cozy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Safe. Even.
There's things I want to say, but I'm not going to. And don't worry, they were self-deprecating things. But anyways, this is great. This is really cool. And of course, this is Cyberpunk by Jada. And this features the young woman from the show. Like, this is cool. He looks great, right?
Yeah.
But how do you feel about this figure? I actually have not seen her yet. I don't remember. I don't think she was at WonderCon. I think only he was.
Well, I can't really say anything negative about my.
What is that by contract? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, you never really want to say anything bad about the. You don't want to bite that hand that feeds you, right? But you know what? I got to say this: for the price, it's not bad. And where they fall short is the face sculpts. And
That's
I
what you're
think,
wondering about these. There's a question in here that you asked about the face sculpt. So
yeah,
got it now.
I don't like the face sculpts. They aren't anywhere, especially for Lucy, man. Like David looks a little bit better, but for Lucy, like she doesn't come anywhere close to what she's supposed to look like in the anime. In the show.
Sure.
It's the eyes. I think it might even be like the shape of the face, but mainly the eyes, you know. That forehead, she's got a 5 head. It's just, I don't know, man. Good thing she has bangs, right?
Man.
I'm not roasting the figure.
No.
For the price.
I wasn't worried about the figure. I was thinking about poor Lucy, who isn't a real person.
No, but Lucy,
but yes.
but Lucy in the show is, she looks much better than this. And the soft goods are really good. You know, the sculpting is superb. The articulation is great. Yep. However, I don't know if you've handled them, but like there's
I have not handled this one.
Do you have David though?
In the ankles? I don't even have David, no. I've gotten to mess with him.
There's like detents, you know? And their articulation is not smooth. So, but it's fine, you know, especially at the price. However, that's why I'm like, dude, I can't wait until BuzzMod shows off what they're going to do, right? For something that I love so much, like Cyberpunk, anything, I'm willing to invest, you know? BuzzMod is not the cheapest out there. They might even be probably one of the most expensive, right, for 112 figures. But for me, they nail it all the time. Yes, they have their shortcomings, as Chamba would say. Their shoulders are garbage, but I can live with that, you know, just like how many people can live with a not so good Lucy face.
Sure. Yeah. But in all the other, you know, there are other aspects of what they do. I get it. Like that's what you're paying for. And so
it's still a good figure. And if you are a fan of Cyberpunk, I highly recommend. You got to pick these up. You have no choice but to pick these up.
Nice.
And you know what? When I was taking this picture, just so you know, I was really focused on making sure she was dead center in frame.
Yeah,
and I had symmetry. I had to measure out like where I put the dial walls, and those dial walls aren't even finished. They're not painted. They're just gray, right? And actually, that's the only dial that I have. It's for me, and I wanted just a grayscale diorama. I wanted like, have you ever like seen a prototype?
So that's all
figure.
I have, like a test shot in all gray.
And you're like, that actually looks really good, and I want that. This is like, I wanted a prototype diorama, so I made one for me, And I think it
nice.
was cool.
And so that's all lighting, the blue. That's all based on what's happening with light.
And I think so. In my head,
Beautiful.
It was going to be, well, if the diorama is busy and has all these colors, then it's going to take away from the figure. Now, if I'm going to highlight figures and showcase them off, the diorama should just be flat, right? But it still should have some sort of recognizable shape. So your brain can be like, oh, they're in a sort of setting, right? In my head, that makes sense. And and the picture looks good, I think so.
And the picture looks great. And you're like, everything that you just said in terms of like thinking about the space you're going to be in, it's got to be a dio, so you see the shapes. However, the gray being a way to kind of like highlight the figure. You were saying earlier, I don't really do creative stuff. Like you do, like something going on there, something is triggered there. Where you just get the aesthetics, like how to make something look really good. So well done, and others agree. Here's E saying Mario's Dio at the Jada's booth helped sell me on the figures. That environment, that cyberpunk environment was dope. Blake saying nice work.
Thank you.
Folks, Zio agrees with you. He's to be honest, he's not 100% sold on Lucy's head either. He was also saying inspirational stuff. And then, and then this guy, you were talking about the detents in their ankles. There's Detour.
Yeah.
Steph saying, what's up? Hey, man, thank you so much for the super chat. You didn't need to do that, but thank you very much for the $4.99 super chat. You're awesome. Good to see you, man. I've been watching your work and just seeing all the good stuff you keep putting out into the world.
He has grown so much since I first met him. Although I first met him like years and years ago, but like it's crazy to see how much his work has evolved into something that's crazy good. It's so good. Yeah, and he's a nice guy. Limit in his brain. Yeah,
makes it even better.
Even better
to talk about you, man. Okay, so she's a beautiful figure. I get what you're saying with some of the like, oh, I wish this. I get that. So then, it sounds like you have a discerning eye when it comes to female action figures, so you've kind of
or females in general. I'm gonna
that too. No, okay, so I promised your mom that we would be respectful.
Yes.
As we talk about the waifu. So we're not going to be bustos about it. No, we're going to, so real quick, waifu, you've become synonymous with the waifu when it comes to the action.
Yeah, I think
folks
so.
Look to you so much so that you did your top 10, right? 2024. For those who are unfamiliar, this is what Google offers when you ask, dude, what's a waifu? And so waifu, Japanese, right? Take an English word, add a U at the end of it, or that's oversimplifying, but it's waifu, right? Waifu for anime and related fandoms. Waifu refers to a fictional female character, often from anime, manga, or video games that a person considers their ideal romantic partner. And you get the idea. And I read that for those of you who are illiterate, so you're welcome. Now, over on, that's not right. Oh, see, we'll get there in a second.
She's
Yes, she is. I was trying to get back to you, dude. So this year for 2024, we were talking about, you were released a video, and as part of your best of, you decided to just go all waifu. So you did top 10, and there's a spoiler in there, but let's go back real quick and sort of show where you ended up with. Don't need to spend a ton of time on each, but there's a couple things that I want to show. First off, just to establish where his collecting brain has been lately. It's been in these women characters, these female figures. So this one is by, what is it? Kang Toys. Kang Toys. Yeah. As an example, right, of 1 of 10. So this was your 10. Gorgeous looking figure. Like, I don't know how it moves or anything. I saw art with toys breaking it down. Yeah, but just the visuals, right? The aesthetics, the clothes and everything that she's got going on. I dug that. Then we've got number 9. Is this 9? Oh, yeah, and the accessories, of course. This would be the Catwoman by, who makes this again?
Reveltech, baby. Amazing Yamaguchi.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Yes, there's the. Sorry, I know it's almost like perform monkey, but
Dance.
here's the dance monkey. But so it's not necessarily stuck in a particular aesthetic, although this one does have a little bit of the sort of anime.
Look at that though.
Style. Yeah, that one was a little. One,
I had fun with that.
Okay, there was something about that expression that was a little off. But then there is also this one as well has a little bit more of the sort of manga anime aesthetic. We're at number 7 or so, number 8 right now. You can kind of see him going through.
Yeah, too.
Yeah, she looks great. I look at all of these.
Mm-hmm. I was just gonna say 2B is in my top. She might be top 3, definitely top 5. Like just waifu characters, character design, story of all time.
Yep.
I love Nier Automata, and it's great. I like the game. I haven't seen the anime. Right. Yeah, dude, it's great. I just love. She's a cyborg, or she's a it's great. It's great.
And I'm not trying to be weird at all, but that pelvic thrust at the end, again, really not trying to be weird, but aesthetically, it's like perfect. It's so dynamic, and obviously the curves are there and everything. But it's cool.
Yeah. And it's not actually it's just, I guess, a happy accident that it's designed like that, because she comes with the soft good skirt, and there's a little indentation for the skirt to kind of sit on, right? But you can remove anything on a figure, right? But because you remove it, then it kind of exaggerates like the hips and the pelvic, because and I'm like, oh, this works even better, right? So yeah, so it's a happy accident. I don't think they intentionally designed it unless they did, and they're geniuses for that. But
maybe it took you to unearth it though, because
yeah,
I'm sure you're the only guy who took off the skirt. And then there's these a twofer, but so again, for the old guys, the whole outfit is a throwback.
Mm-hmm.
But they're cool. The figures, they're cool. I think they're a little on the corny side myself.
Mm-hmm.
But they look good. But the bikes, those things are killer.
Yeah.
And I'm not at all just trying to be a nice guy. I actually just think that they're really, really cool. And that's the thing that I noticed with, is this Snail Shell?
Yeah, Snail Shell. Mm-hmm.
Dude, their stuff is cool. Like, I'm often looking at these things and it's like the figures look great, but I'm wanting everything else that comes with them.
Yeah.
And this was one of them. I will also say this right here around the garter, the way they sort of work that.
The squish?
The cinching in and the skin. Yeah, the squish.
That's attention to detail.
Technical term.
Yeah.
Yes.
That the squish is the technical term, by the way. But
it is. Got it.
It's because it's an attention to detail thing, right? But you can tell like these guys, and hopefully in like the most professional way possible, but they probably studied anatomy. They studied physics.
Oh, sure.
And when they're sculpting, they're like, hey, it would look weird if we didn't include this squish, right? And to add that little detail there is like, dude, they're giving us, it's a treat, right? And you can see.
I think they understood the assignment. Yeah, I think they understood the assignment, because I'm with you. I appreciate the attention to detail, but that Psylocke figure we were looking at, they didn't bother, because that's a different assignment.
Yeah,
that's a different assignment. Okay, so let's get away from the sort of anime manga aesthetic. So sometimes they have a little bit more photorealism.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one is definitely, I would say, veers more on the side of photorealism, but in the sort of, digital uncanny valley kind of way, but still it's not your typical manga deal.
Yeah. So this is a company, indietoys. They actually started in 1/6, right? And I remember
you could tell
they were the hardest figures to get in 1/6, and I never got this figure in 1/6, but I do own a couple, and they're fantastic. Probably the best face sculpts, right? It's a little more photorealistic, but still, I think you said it accurately. Uncanny valley, right? Like it looks She looks like she could be an android, right? She looks like she could be
Yep.
2D or something
exactly.
like that. The eyes are movable, and it's a beautiful sculpt, you know? The 1/6 figures are even better. And so this is their first jump into 112, and I'm like, I'm not going to make that mistake where I missed out. I'm all in on this line because I love their 1/6 stuff, right? Now, the 112 stuff is definitely not as good as the 1/6 stuff. It's okay. It's an okay figure, right? And for the price, because this was actually
as far as like build,
there's no QC issues. Like, it's got its limitations, right? The articulation is actually surprisingly better than I thought it was going to be. Like, she actually has ankle swivel because the boot is actually cut at the top, so it's a 2-piece boot, right? It's just, I think when you scale down, and this is the reason why I don't like soft goods, 112 scale soft goods, it just doesn't look right, and it will hinder your articulation. So I think that might be my only gripe with that. I mean, it's it's loaded out. The jacket is amazing.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
And I think that says something about me where, well, no, I mean, I appreciate the form, the female form and all 100%, but I also really appreciate the clothes. Like the jacket is really cool. The boots are killer. The little like fasteners and stuff, but
and once we get through like this segment or the list, I'll explain why I gravitate towards like the waifu action figure, because it's actually
I would love to know.
There is
not
some
as dirty as one would think.
There is some actual like reasoning and thought behind it, not me just gooning all over the place.
Sure. And we don't have to spend too much time. Are you okay to go a little bit longer? I just saw this.
That's fine, and we can even like rush through these. I mean, this is just okay. This is Rebel Talk. She's great. Yeah.
So this is your stuff, and these were your top 10s. We can see these. Oh, look, we stopped right before they started losing clothes. But
I mean, that Figma though, this one, and it's because Figma has been like kind of dropping the ball with their articulate. They suck, sometimes, but now they're getting so good because they're adding articulation, and they've always been the kings of like sculpt and paint. And this thing, she's hardly wearing anything, but it's such a badass figure, dude. She's loaded out. She's got these guns, big plasma sword thing.
Gun axes.
Gun axe things. Yeah, whatever, man. And like,
well, I'm just saying, like, that's how cool they are. They're like guns and axes. Stuff, look at that. Woo.
The biggest sell for me, like because I started collecting Figma, God, man, like back like 2000 when they first started. And the biggest appeal to them was you could change the facial expressions, right? And you can get a lot of mileage. You can do a lot when you have different facial expressions and hands and stuff. So that's why I love Figma figures. Like, dude, they're the best. And this one, she probably should have been number 1. She's great.
I don't disagree with your number 1, and we'll get there in a second, because that was one of my favorite figures of 2024.
Do you have that, the number 1?
Oh, I do. That's
right. Yeah, you do.
That's my thing. Is I have all sorts of cool videos, including a best of 2024 figure that is sitting on a hard drive and will just never get edited and see the light of day. But let's skip ahead to her, because I think this is like one of the coolest figures I own. I love.
You won't see any pictures of her though.
What you mean?
Because I took a cut from.
That's right. That's right. I forgot you.
So
you did this.
I didn't do any.
It's fine. Yeah. That's right. I forgot there was this little gimmick.
Yeah.
I was just going through the top. But here, silhouette alone is dope. If you don't know Sexy Ice Mantis, go check her out. I've got a short of her on my thing. That's as much as the video editing I'm doing these days. But I love that figure, and it's too bad because that's the one where it's like not even like fleshy human bits. It's like insect carapace,
right,
with like amazing joint options, right? Like some people I know who got it didn't even realize that there were like ball joint attachments on her elbows and stuff. And anyway, I think it's really cool, and I love that. To me, is one of the I love that she actually ended up being your number 1, because I think it's the most out of the box, which is kind of on brand for me.
Yeah. And she
waifu.
I wasn't gonna get her, and then Chamba put me on. He's like, mate, you gotta get her. And I'm like,
yes.
why? And he said, look, and he like put her in all these poses. And I'm like, sold, because I love women, right? I love everything about women, but I love articulation more, right? And she moved crazy. The only issue though is, and I don't know if you have this issue with yours, but like the attachments for like the claws and stuff, sometimes they fall out.
Yep.
So they got some QC issues, but it's still a great figure. And the Unkval 3-pack is on the way to me right now.
Don't get me started. Oh, good for you. I'm actually happy for you.
Oh, you didn't get it?
I didn't get it, and I wish I did.
Oh.
But it's an amazing figure. You're right that some of them, they can be a little bit finicky and fall out. Mm-hmm. It was our first figure. I hope the Unkval Eliminator is better, but that 3-pack, it genuinely makes me sad that I didn't go for her. So anyway, you're into the women and you're into the waifu thing. And right now it just seems like we are in this like cool period of, one, we're getting all sorts of toys, full stop. But also we're getting all sorts of like women figures that we just didn't get as kids. We were talking about G.I. Joe earlier. Like what? Like 6 women figures, maybe 5 in the whole line. I was a Star Wars guy. And to be honest, Star Wars episodes 4, 5, and 6, like, had minimal women in it to begin with, but the toys likewise, right? Which is actually silly when you think about it, because they had all these aliens and they could have even just done female, like said they were women, but they didn't. Yeah. So there's a slant, and now we're in this age where, because of the technology and the sort of like accessibility of the tools to make figures, these new lines, these new companies are coming out, and you're getting all sorts of awesome women characters. Yeah. So I want to, maybe, could you tell us what your reasoning? You kind of hinted that there was some thinking behind them.
Yeah. And I think, one, it's a mixture of I think the lack of getting them when I was younger makes me want them even more now, right? Because they're available. I remember back in the day, there were no female figures, right? But they were characters, right? Like maybe we had April O'Neil, right? But I do remember that if I wanted a female figure that actually looked like that had the curves and you know, people were paying attention, you'd have to go with like McFarlane toys, right? I remember getting like a She Spawn or something like that, or I forgot, was it an Angela figure? I have no idea. Yeah, and you're like, holy crap, this is rare, right? And but they would still not get the love, right? Yes, there were like some Toy Biz, like Rogue, and she looked so bad, and Storm. They did exist, but they didn't get the love, right? And they certainly didn't really look like how they were portrayed like in the media that you would consume, right? So but now, dude, it's like we're eating well, and you got companies like Romanki that are just leaning into like the exaggerated proportions, which is, dude, I don't know. Like, yes, I guess you can like say, oh, that's sexualized, but their male counterparts are hyper, stylized too, with big broad shoulders and big muscles. It's what makes them look like superheroes, right? And I love it. Yeah. Now, for the waifu stuff, especially like the imports and like, like we were just looking at, the snail shell stuff and the Figma. I like these particular, like there's a brand called Megami Device. Have you heard of that or seen that? It's a model kit by Kotobukiya, right? So it's waifus, but like in mecha armor, right? Ooh, and I think the reason I pinpointed, I think the reason why I like this so much is there's like this beautiful contrast between something like, I don't know, as delicate as like, a waifu, but yet she's menacing when she's got this armor, these big badass weapons, and you're like, holy shit, don't mess with her. Like this stuff is
the contrast.
It's the contrast, man. There you go. Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. And I think that's what makes it like very artistic. And yes, they're beautiful. They're fun to look at, right? But I just think even though they're very pretty to look at, this just looks badass. Like, look at these weapons, So
I 100% get that and agree with you that on both points, that one, we're actually getting women figures. We're now getting the ability and attention to like different shapes to the body, right? Different forms. And then the mixing of like kind of redefining what badass is, right? Like the idea of like a boss or a baddie, like just it's cool. It is really cool. Of course, there's the issues with like stuff being over sexualized or whatever, however you want to define that. And I totally get that. Like the issue is at the root of it. It's, whatever. It's not whatever. It's sexism. It's misogyny. Those things, at least from my end, they're real. If that didn't exist, you'd still look at this thing and be like, it's fucking beautiful. Oops, that was the first one. But it looks really great, right? Like, and so these are really cool.
Yeah.
So on that, dude, wait, real quick. What's the deal with these? Do they like port and you can connect stuff in?
You could cool. Mix and match and do whatever, right? And again, they're model kits that are, supposed to function like action figures, and for the most part, they get the job done, right? It's still going to feel like a kit, and it takes forever to build them up. But yeah, you can pretty much do whatever you want, make your own weapons. They have like upgrade kits, but I think this is just a perfect example of that, contrast, right?
Yep. And to tie it back to the cyberpunk stuff, that obviously works as well with the hard tech and then the soft human aspect. That's really a lot of like the cyberpunk, especially when it comes to cybernetics, right? It's hard and soft all the time.
Yeah.
Like you have the soft coat, soft jacket, and then you've got your rude boy hard helmet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The aesthetic.
Yeah. It's just so cool.
But now
let's kind of look at this. Like this, this is beautiful, dude.
People
and it's variety too. Look at the shape of that figure.
Yeah. And then doing the repaint, which is wild to me, is taking the existing sculpt and people sort of showing a different way of looking at these figures and what can be done with what they give us. Because the sculpts are there, they're beautiful. That is clearly got its aesthetic. That's definitely more on the sort of illustrated side. And then this is a person trying to do maybe that uncanny valley, with that sense of realism to it. And I think it's really cool. Like that's my thing with a lot of those snail shell figures. I think if they would invest in the molding and give you an alternate head that is molding and painting and all the stuff. I know it's not cheap. But I'm one of those guys who would probably buy a lot more of them if there was an alternate head in there that could work with other more photorealistic lines and just other figures.
Yeah, dude.
Because I love manga, I love anime, I do. But then if you look at the rest of my shelf, you're like, oh, those will stand out. But like next to say like whatever, a Legions or something else,
it doesn't flow. Yeah, you're right. It certainly has that anime look, and it doesn't kind of mesh with like, let's say like the cosmic or mythic legions. Yeah,
right. But imagine, like, I love the aesthetics of all of this. Like, I want that robot person with a different looking head. Or like Lucia. Was that snail shell? Was Lucia a snail shell? Have you seen her? She's like a demon.
Yeah.
Big.
Yep. I have that.
That's one of those where, like, if they had like a slightly more realistic face, I'd be all.
They're
trying to figure out the word.
So here's the thing. It's funny you mentioned that. It's funny you mentioned that because I've been playing. I told you I've been playing a lot of video games, and okay. If anybody in the chat knows what this game is, judge all you want. Call me a gooner. I don't care. The game is actually really dope. I've been playing First Descendant, right? And it's gooner bait. Let's be real, right? But the character designs are dope. And it reminds me a lot. You said First. The First Descendant. I don't know if you want to pull it up. I mean, you could pull it up. It's fine.
I'm not pulling it up on screen. It's just for I'm a visual person. See, this is me proving my point.
Just look up Ultimate Bunny. Look up Ultimate Bunny, and it's great. Okay. But the character designs are very dope, and it's very sci-fi. Not really cyberpunk, more sci-fi. And it's a shooter, but there are figures that I have that I can kind of make that custom. The problem is this: the head sculpts that I have, they're too anime, right? So I would need to get like more realistic look. So I was looking at because there are third party, custom heads that you can print and paint, And I'm like, it would be dope to do a head swap on, like, let's say a snail shell, you know, just a snail shell body, whatever. But then I want to see what it looks like with, like, let's say that I Ate Toys head, you know? And I did a swap earlier. I'm like, I think we're onto something here. I think we might be onto something. So I might jump into, I might go down that road.
Seeing maybe soon?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I am really curious. I'd love to see it. And I really would probably buy a lot more of those figures. I'd even get past the weird, awkward shame of getting some of those things in the house because I think it would be kind of cool, like to see like a almost barbarian-ish woman with giant horns and stuff, or like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, obviously it would take more than that. You can kind of see that here where the head is clearly like got like gradients and, you know, like full on blush, and then the blush, body doesn't. Yeah. But it's cool. And so shout out to Otaka BX who did this one. And then there's this Fury
That's
Toys who's giving you this guy over here. I was
barely see him.
I'm looking at the monkey is what I'm looking at. That's what I'm focused in. But then there's this body, which is a Fury Toys taken again. I'm looking at, of course, I'm not going to pretend that the proportions and the curves, like those are attractive for this, you know, identified straight boy. But in addition, in addition, the articulation and the curves, like on that is like, there's some really, really cool stuff going on. And that's the thing, like generally the toy industry, the figure industry hasn't paid this much attention to their female figures. And now they're doing it. And I love it.
Right.
All this thigh cut, but it still looks good.
Yeah. And it's, again, they're finally putting in the work and paying attention and engineering something properly that not only can move well, right, but that has the shape of an exaggerated superhero type female body, right?
Totally.
Which is what we wanted. You know, we're older gentlemen, you know, we haven't had stuff like this. And like, it's cool to see.
Dirty, but yeah.
I'm not ashamed. No, but I'm really looking forward to this. Romanki had released one of their bodies maybe a year ago, and while it did look good and had the proportions, the articulation wasn't the greatest. But they are doing a 2.0. That's nuts that it can get into like the Spider-Man pose.
Yeah.
Like this
is that what you call that? The Spider-Man pose? Okay, got it.
Well, I call it something else, but we're, you know, trying to keep it somewhat respectable on here.
I love that. That's
Death by Snoozu pose.
I saw this thing, and at first I thought it was like Lilu from what do you call it, from Fifth Element, and then I kept going, and I was like, oh, it's a tie. I was like, that was less cool in my brain, but still cool. And I'm assuming this is the body that they're gonna play with, because they've got some other stuff that I don't have ready to show, but they've got like some World of Warcraft elves that are using the same body, and I'm just excited for that.
Yeah, I've seen, and I'm like, do I jump back into like this kind of genre? Because I don't collect Mythic, but some of these like, you know, fantasy type characters, I'm like, they might get me. Dude, this looks great.
Look at that. Yeah, no, and that's it. We didn't get this. You know, back in the day, I had Cover Girl or Scarlet in 3.75, and man, the head sculpts, they just did them dirty. Like they were not, like, it just didn't look good. Yeah. Granted, a lot of the old school G.I. Joes, the head sculpts didn't look great, but they looked better than the women. The women, I just felt like they got like short shrift. So,
yeah, they didn't get any love.
Yeah. And at least, like, if anything, folks, we might just be BSing and justifying spending an entire episode looking at beautiful women. But that said, some customs. This is Miruru Studios' take on an Ilyana using the Romaki body that you were talking about.
Is that the Romaki? The first one? Yeah. Dude, that head sculpt is amazing.
Yeah. So check it out. Yeah, they did such a good job with
that is this. The Romaki. Yeah,
it is.
That must be like a custom pelvic area.
This part is new. Yeah, I think they put like on like an overlay kind of thing. Probably
Yeah, because
No, it
that's
doesn't quite look like the Marvel Legends one, but they got that from somewhere else because the Marvel Legends Liana has like a belt, but or maybe it is. Maybe they repainted. I don't know. But yes, because the Romaki one has a little bit more of a flow right here from the waist down.
Yeah.
But that is a little weird.
I made a custom.
For that.
I'll pull it up.
She looks great. Is the arm like that on the Romaki? Is that kind of raw Romaki buck
No,
arm?
that doesn't. Hold on one
that
second.
Looks a little weird to me.
Let me. Sure. Because I think I showed this off before, but I like showing it off. So 1 second.
Cool. And while we're there, and you probably got your headphones in, I skipped over it. You probably saw it in the chat, but Art G is saying, Kuya 1 and Kuya 2, what's up? What's up, Art? Thank you for stopping in, man. If you're still here, hello. Well, yeah, you were. And he was saying, oh, yeah, mine were Claiborne Moore Toys, who made Fathom, Witchblade, Image Comics, Top Cow characters. Yeah,
dude,
probably
Image.
when we were talking about Angela and them.
Image was so good. I like Gen 13. I like Gen 13.
Yeah, Gen 13 in particular. That was actually the one Image comic that I actually read multiple issues of.
Read or looked at pictures?
Read. Oh, no. I read. No, man, that's actually really cool.
Actually,
I
like
love
this.
the dynamic between the characters.
I know we're getting a little sidetracked here, but
what you got? Oh, look at you! There you go,
dude. By the
what is that based on?
The legendary, multi-talented Christina Cohen on Instagram. I've waited years to get this custom, and she finally had a slot open in 2020. And so this is Caitlin Fairchild. This is stellar work, dude. I never thought I'd have a figure of her. And while I got you on the big screen, yeah, it's really good, dude. She does amazing work. I'm sure everybody's already following her, but go check her out. And then I did a Sasuke custom from Kill la Kill using the Romaki. I rebodied her.
Oh, look at that.
Whoops. It came undone.
Falling apart.
Yeah, but I mean, it's an easy. I had to design a custom ball joint to attach the two bodies together, so the upper torso and the lower torso. But yeah, I think it looks good.
What was this, Christina Cohen? What is her IG? If you have it,
I think it's just that. Christina.
I tried to look it up, but there's way too many.
I'll look it up. 1 second.
Young women with that name, and they're like,
I'll put it in the chat.
I'm interested in. Okay, and then let me see. I'll quickly go through the folks who. Oh, hey, Hoppa Kenergy is here. On that note, hoping to get a Marvel rival. Penny Parker kit from an overseas company. Awesome. Yeah. Hello, and thank you for joining us. Magic is looking good according to Zio. I agree. Mr. Ryan Clark put women in quotes, and I'm wondering, because I'm a self-critical person, I've got you big hair. Look at your bogey over there. Is that because they're kids? Is that what that in quotes is for? Because I totally get it.
Maybe, yeah.
RG is saying Gen 13, you could not escape J. Scott Campbell's artwork. Yeah, no,
he's the best.
It was really cool. I loved his work. He's loving that figure. And oh man, imagine Loose Collector doing Gen 13.
Dude, Loose Collector stuff is really good too.
See that.
And the Frazetta Girls stuff looks amazing. I have not bought any of those, but that stuff looks great.
Vampirella, dude.
Yeah, man.
Vampirella, the proportions. I mean, it's Frazetta. Like that was a thing. He very much appreciated the human form, especially the female form, and
very
gave it a lot of love and attention.
Very muscular and yeah, dude. It's
yep.
Very meaty figure.
And Ryan Clark, he retracted that, but he actually meant they were fictional. So good. That was my Jiminy Cricket, consciousness speaking there. Okay, Ileana, let's see what we can get through real quick. This one, I mentioned Arthur Zoran. This is what I was talking about. This came up today, or apparently 12 hours ago, based on a Figure Obscura build, right, off of the Egyptian. I'm forgetting which Egyptian god she was, but this head sculpt I think is killer. He I'm forgetting now, Arthas, I don't know if you're still here, but he's working with the sculptor and is using them in his customs, and I think
Really?
it's such a good looking paint job.
Yeah, that's amazing.
He does really, really great work. The one custom, I guess paid for custom Legions figure I have is by Arthas, because it's just such a cool build.
Nice.
Cool wings, just this stuff, like multiple hairstyles, just cool looking characters that we didn't get back in the day, the women characters. And again, shout out, actually I meant to do this earlier, Andrew Gady's Toys. You were referring to the 80s and 90s where we'd see these female characters, but then they never make characters. Andrew has a YouTube channel and he talks all about that, like the female characters who we never got made in 80s and 90s nostalgic toy lines, and some of them were actually prototyped and sometimes in some cases solicited, but then they never actuay did the damn thing.
Yeah.
And he's got a really cool like breakdown of different ones. So shout out to Arthas. I love his work. And in addition to the women,
this is really good work. This is great.
Yeah. Brown people. That's the other thing. You and I started this thing talking about Pinoys, but like we're getting those as well. Like, look, women and people of color exist in action figures now. What were you about to say?
I was going to say, painting eyes. I've never been able to master that. I've gotten by, scooted by, but I can't, dude. And like, much respect, dude, because this is tough. Actually, just painting faces in general, dude. Like my stuff always comes out looking like they look like mannequins or something. There's no life behind them, right? So, but yeah, this stuff is cool.
It is pretty amazing. He came out to the Bay once and we hung out, and that was one of the things that he mentioned was like his process for eyes. And but this is another one. Again, all shapes and sizes. Here is a gorgeous half orc. I just think like it's so unique. Like we didn't get these at all. If anything, they all had the same body type, and of course they were trying to be like this standard slim, almost modelish, stereotypical figure. And now we're getting like this big buff cosmic legions. Like one of my favorite cosmics is Vorga. It's a big buff orange woman with a gigantic gun, and I think this is so cool. Arthas, if you're still watching, let's talk about this half orc because I really like her.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a unique, again, figure shape, that head, the haircut. Cool. More Arthas.
I like this
cool
one.
Elves. Yeah. And what's especially cool nowadays is, go on and on about legions, but one of the things I love the most is that they are pop and swappable and that they embrace the customizer company, which I just think set the foundation for all these folks to get into the hobby of painting and printing and sculpting. And now we are, dude, we're benefiting because of it. And here you go.
Again, dude, they found a way for you to get more mileage out of your figure, Yep, and then you add into like, the maker community, and now it's endless possibilities.
Oh, yay. Still here. Good. Feeling the love. You deserve it, man. Great stuff. Thanos is loving that female orc. I love that female orc. These we will just kind of end pretty quickly. I think there's like 4 more, but June / Princess from Storm Collectibles was one of the probably earliest formative as a little straight boy in LA looking at anime and seeing Gotcha Man for the first time. I was like, oh, she's cool. Yeah. Something happened. But we're finally getting her in Storm Collectibles. So she's going to be probably like a fashion model and be like 7 foot tall.
Yeah.
And, but cool that they're making it. And
dude, some of my favorite waifu figures are from Storm Collectibles,
That's great to hear, because I know a lot of people do comment about the women. Like people don't like their women. I actually do like them. I love the Darkstalkers girl. What was her name? But they gave her some real the hips, the shape of her. I thought was really cool.
Yeah, I have my Chun-Li. Sadly, I only have the pink Chun-Li, but she's built like a tank. You know, she's great. Like I have Jury. Jury's awesome too. Like they're great.
Yeah, that's the other one. Jury.
Yeah.
Oh, Jury looks so good. Like you said, I like that. I like that. And then you can shrink them down, and I can't get over Joy Toy, because they what they do at that size is better than what a lot of companies do at 112.
Yeah.
As far as sculpt, and such a great looking April. Waifus in all shapes, sizes, scales, even like giving us alternate faces. Like this is just not like. Do you know what I'm talking about when I was mentioning the cover girl? Do you remember or Scarlet, what they look like in 3.75?
Like the old school, like back.
Yeah.
They're just. It seemed like there was like in shock or something. You know, just rough.
I can't resist. So this is hold on, let me open copy. No, open image in new tab. So we got this April, and then this is what we got in 3.75 back in the day. I'm just saying, like there is an ability that exists now that for some reason was lost.
Bro, there's her arms are like shelves, man. Look at that. Oh, what the hell is that? It's just.
And I say that not to diss the past. Well, I do kind of, but it's more so to hold up and enjoy what you got, folks, because you're living in good times. 3 more women, and then we'll close. I think even 2 more. I just quick shout out to Emil Wickman, who does the customs and is because we're getting new body parts in Figure Obscura. This came with the Ghost of Christmas. Was it Present? I think, or no, Past. Ghost of Christmas Past. Who I swear, if you look at this figure, I totally saw like Mestiza Pinay in her, but Emil saw British girl turned Japanese assassin in her and created this Psylocke. And dude, it's a good time to be a toy collector. That is all. Yeah. Who appreciates women.
Yep. Yeah, this is great.
Look at that. Emil, this is the paints as well. Like, cool, man. Then there's this, which is like this is definitely something out of my wheelhouse, and it's a little bit gratuitous, but I just saw stuff like this, and I'm just again kind of blown away. Because am I right? This is tiny. This is going to be tiny, right?
No, this is. Or
maybe I'm wrong.
I think this is 1/6 because Starman they did.
Okay,
they did their other one, and she looks fantastic.
Good.
I don't think
was
this
blown
is,
away over.
Yeah, I don't think this is 1/12.
No, you're probably right. I was just looking at the tags, but no, those probably have nothing to do with anything. But okay, that makes more sense because I was also like me being a clothes person. I'm looking at like this stuff and all of this and the jacket.
Yeah,
this is admittedly much, guys, but I keep zooming in on it.
Yeah, they and I love this cami redesign. You know, it looks great. I mean, they improved upon like greatness. You know,
yeah.
But yeah, I can't do 1/6 anymore. That is reserved for like my absolute favorite stuff, right? Like I eventually want to get that 1/6 Spike Spiegel.
I stay clear away of it.
Really, you have the Spike Spiegel?
Nope. Yes, Cowboy
Bebop. Yeah,
Cowboy Bebop. Yeah. That's a great looking one. That's totally like,
yeah.
I can get that because it's ripped right out of the anime manga. But
it takes up a lot of space,
whatever.
Man.
1/6.
Yeah.
Sorry, she cheated. I suck. Get her out of here. But
she still looks great.
Sir, she does. Yeah. But no, that's a whole other world. Hey man, thank you. I kept you a little longer than I said I would about the length of a classic Hollywood film. But thank you for hanging out, man. And I think we actually did a decent job. You can tell your mom that we were pretty respectful, I think.
Yeah.
In talking about women.
I didn't say the F word once. You did though.
Yeah, I did.
So I'm very proud of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, dude, thank you for having me. And like I told you earlier, you're one of my favorite people in this community, and this was long overdue. I love chopping it up with you, and I love sending you Filipino memes and reels. That last one I sent you, did that get you? I died when I first saw that.
It was at the and then this and then this and then this. Yes. And then I immediately proceeded to send it to other people. And they're like, "Yep, that's about right."
That's exactly
Especially the recipe. That's the same thing with my mom. Oh, you just did this and just this. So yes. And Machu sent me one this morning about My Boo, the remix. Have you ever seen that?
Oh no, I haven't seen it.
But it's a remix of My Boo. But I'll give you a hint. They remix it, and two of the guys are holding tabos, so you can probably.
Oh wait, I don't think I clicked on it yet because I'm like, oh man, I got to get ready for this.
Hey, but for real, like, see this guy Archie. He's like, I get that reference. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. For real, it is actually genuinely cool, and I know, like, in this day and age, people like struggle with this concept, but it is genuinely cool to be able to turn on a thing, watch a screen, and see people that not only look like me, but will get, like, when I say barrel man or whatever, they'll get it, and that's nice. There's it's nice to feel comfortable, and I know there's a lot of people who might not get that, but that's because they're used to being comfortable. And so for the rest of us, we like this idea of feeling comfortable in spaces. And so that's kind of what I want to do here, aside from the toy thing, right? It's just like, I appreciate that you're around doing what you do. I appreciate everything with it. We barely talked about it, but this dude, Toy Migos, this dude, Enablers, two of like the best content on YouTube.
Thank you.
So I'll say that. Yeah. And we didn't even get into this, but your top 10, 20, you know, I meant to mention this and somebody else brought it up. The production value on that top 10 wife, those videos are just like, damn, opening with the silhouette and I think I mentioned that in the comments as well. I was like, damn, what is this guy like?
That was a fun idea. And then for everybody still watching and even you, Brick, go back and watch the opening scene with the silhouettes and like the figures. And it could be a fun game. Try and see if you can guess which figures I used. And there's an Easter egg, or there's a little joke figure in there too. It goes really fast. You gotta catch it. But yeah,
in the silhouettes,
check it out. Yeah,
in those first silhouettes.
But that was
love it,
and that's really how that whole series started, because I had the idea for. I'm like, oh, this would be a cool scene. What could I use it for? You know. So, but thank you. Nice. I appreciate the kind words.
Of course, man. You're great. And Machu is saying it's a big joke figure. And I didn't mean to not highlight it, Machu. No shame. Yeah, we messed up. We totally thought that monkey's foot was a joint. I love that he was like, fools! It's not a joint.
He would catch that. He would, and he wouldn't. He won't let us live that down, because this guy adds his own. That dude's a master. Yeah, he adds his own foot articulation. So, you know.
That's true. He should have ended it with, it's not a joint, but I'll add one for whatever, $50.
$50 a foot.
Hey man, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to hang out. Thank you to everybody who's watched. You can follow this guy. Oh, actually, I have a question.
Yeah.
Where can folks find you?
Do you want me to do that thing?
I mean, you don't have to. Again, here I am with the dance monkey dance thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? We're evolving beyond that.
I need to think of a new one. Yeah. You know what? Actually, follow me on 796 Studios. I haven't been posting much lately, but what I do post, I have some thoughts and words behind it, right? And if you dig my content, there's already a ton of content on there, mainly on the story highlights. And I'd like to bring some of that stuff back, like the pose sessions, because that's when I was having the most fun with my toys. I was actually playing with them, right? So go check that out. And if you like it, maybe send me a DM and encourage me to do more. But I would like to, you know, once I'm done taking my little break, I would like to do the thing.
Oh, sorry. I was laughing because you were in this big serious moment. We were like, oh, another side of 7. Like, let's pause. Let's be thoughtful. Talk about this. You should check this out. I've been taking a break. You know, I'm trying to do new things. And then here's Machu shoving $5
down my throat.
Do the thing. Hey, thank you, Machu. I appreciate it, man. Make more bikes, Mario's.
Yes, I actually.
You don't have to do.
I want to make more bikes.
Okay. Hey, but
yeah.
no, for real. So check out 796. And then do you think at some point, because you do have a channel, I know on YouTube, but there's like nothing on there. Is that something that might happen sometime in the future?
I don't know, man. I've been saying for years that I want to do a YouTube channel, and I know I have it in me. I need an idea that I can commit to, right? Because originally it was going to be a Gunpla channel, then it was going to be, photography tips, then it was going to be diorama building. Maybe, but I whatever it is, I want it to be something that I can be. That's not cool, Machu. That's actually borderline cancelable. So,
Oh, careful.
Don't. I'm no one's monkey, especially not yours.
Monkey around, throwing money around, and it's not a good look, Machu. So now it's reflecting poorly on you, friend. So, yeah. On that somber note, I think it's time to go. We're really offended, and we're about to go. Really like contemplate life and stuff now. So thanks for bringing us down, Machu. That was all on you, man.
But thanks for having me, and thank you, chat, for all the compliments. I appreciate the love. Thank you.
Yes, yeah, dude. People want to see you clearly. Like, yes, and yeah,
that's great.
Absolutely. Thank you, man. Seriously, once again, I hope you have a good week. I hope everybody out there has a good week. For me, it's my last week of school, and then I take a mental break for a little bit, and probably end up doing some stuff on the channel, because then my body can rest and I can actually be freaking creative again. So, yay. Next week, folks, Ultrazilla come through next Sunday. Lots of cool things happening in the summer. And this is where I pretend I know how to end the show, and I always have this weird awkward thing. Okay, so I'm going to play some music. The audio will like be weird. So bye. Look at that. And then we go bye. And then I go boom. Thank you, everybody. Go check out old episodes and see what's up next, as it says on there. Bye. And Machu, you know what you did.